Yeah.
we're
okay.
together. Yeah,
So it might have been
Like a little.
we're from Meyd.it. It's a fashion tech startup.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, we should be talking.
But this is our first time here, so it's fantastic.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, so what's with the weigh machines?
Yeah, sure. The weigh machines.
The scales.
What do you want to? So where are we on?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're on. Hi.
Right. So the way it works is everything that comes in to the site is weighed, and everything that goes out is weighed. It's all tracked so that we've got data of what type of what brands are being saved and where they're coming from, essentially. So at the end of August is the end of our 3-month pilot. Got heaps of data in tracking, and at the end of that we can see from that which brands came through, what condition they were in, so if they were reusable as in resellable, or if they were what we just call recoverable. So recoverable is that it can be upcycled into something, which I can show you.
Yeah, I saw the upper, the
Uptex,
yeah.
So what goes to Uptex is anything that can't be reused in some kind of fashion. So these kind of things we give away because they're still usable. They might just have a little, like maybe a little stain or something's a bit funny about it, but you can still wear it or you can repair it. So that's why those ones are free. But then you've got the stuff that it's like the material's too bad, like it's low quality. So like real cheap stuff that you can't really do much with, or it's really stained. So if it's really stained or it's like gross, then that's got to go to be made into Uptex. So at the moment that's our partner for this trial, for the pilot, and so basically that all gets bundled up, we box it, we send it to Apparel who make it. So there's a cost for that, obviously, for them to process it and for us to send it. So if you drop off things that are going to be in that category, it's $5.50 a kilo, which is directly to pay for that. So we don't keep any of that money. So that's the one they turn into the Uptex. So
Come and have a look.
Let's have a look.
Okay, so the company is called Apparel, and so they've been around for a while, and individuals can box up things that they can't, what they think can't be worn.
So it's basically like carpet underlay or
this is-
soundproofing.
That's the original thing that they were doing.
Yeah.
So this is a newer version called Uptex because this can be used to make other stuff out of. So this is, it's not yet fire rated. The other stuff is. This one is, I don't know the word they're using, it's not completely weatherproof, but water
Resistant?
Water resistant is the word. So you can use it for a variety of things. What we're going to be doing is, at the end of the trial, with revenue from the sales, we're going to purchase this stuff and we're going to make stuff here out of it. And we have local makers that make things, but we're also going to make change rooms out of this. So at the moment, our change rooms are repurposed market stores that we use for our market.
I can see this is insulation too.
Yeah, so they started off with that design, and they're
And
still
soundproofing. If I can get a piece to soundproof my little pump for my fish tank, that'd be
there you
awesome.
go. So I mean, there's a lot of different.
Yeah.
Basically, it's sort of, essentially, it's kind of like a felt or a soundproofing, but it's been made from people's clothes. So that's the sort of difference about it.
Do the manufacturers of the Uptex have to sort through the clothes, or can they use any kind of fabric?
This is what's great about this one. So the Uptex, see how there's got these little fluoro parts? That's high vis. So no one has ever really been able to upcycle high vis before because it's the content, the technical terms, but the type of textile that's in it is so much plastic. So I think it's something to do with, ratios of plastic versus cotton or whatever it is. So, but this is the first one that's been able to take all textiles. So this is everything.
And what do they use to bond it together?
It's like a. I can show you actually. I'll turn the screen on. Basically it's like a massive sewing machine. So it's all shredded up, turned into kind of like a fluff.
Like felting.
Yeah, like felting. And then they pop it through this thing and it goes, and it's got all these little needle things.
Oh, so
and then
it's
it
not
comes
glued
out.
together
No,
in
it
any
just
way.
comes out. It's heat pressed.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm not sure which order, but so it's sewn and then heat pressed.
So can I ask about the zippers and the buttons?
So they take
and
those off. Yeah. So I mean, they do ask, you can do it at home. So they say, look, if you can be bothered cutting it off, because it saves them doing it. But essentially, they've got processes for that. So I think some of it's machinery that does it. I'm not sure how much human involvement is now, but I know that they used to just have a big bunch of people processing it. But they do kind of appreciate it if it's coming from home use. For our one, we're not doing it because we're giving them so much stuff, and they already know that our tracking process is so intense. But yeah, really.
So how many tons of clothes have you processed
I'll tell you
in
what,
3
we
months?
don't actually know yet because we didn't want to look at the data until the end.
All right.
So the end of August. It's funny because I could tell you, I reckon, if I was to guess, so we've boxed up most of it. I reckon the really recycled, like it's going to apparel, it's probably maybe half a ton, maybe. Don't know for sure, because I'm thinking about how much space it would take from a truck over 3 months. However, we also have tracked everything we've kept that can be upcycled. So every single thing, it's like, we're like data monsters, like every single thing. So it comes in, everything's categorized. So it's not just where it's come from. So it's where it's come from, what the weight is. Then the secondary sort is, what are the brands? And then when you're inputting the brands, it's under a category of, is this going to be a freebie? Is this to be upcycled? Is this to be recycled? Is it to be resold? So there's a whole bunch of stuff. So at the end, we'll be like, okay, this is the total of what came in, right? This is the total of what went out, right? And then of the stuff, these are the numbers for what was saved. Essentially, at the end of the day,
polyester.
We don't track the type yet because that would be a whole other
nightmare.
So theoretically, the model, so it's like a kind of like a pilot. It's a practice of the model. Then we can say, okay, if we're able to continue, we're waiting for our lease to see if we can be renewed, just ran out.
So what's going to happen with all that data?
So we'll basically have it for whoever wants it, essentially.
Yeah.
So we've got it.
So are you part of a study?
No,
you're just doing it.
Randos.
You're just randos. Oh, okay, cool.
So we've looked, I mean, we've sort of got a few different people that are kind of involved as volunteers but it's sort of, it's sort of like an experiment to see, you look at like, it's such an immense issue, obviously, textile waste. So it's not like you can just like solve it. But there's all these
27 kilos per person in Australia.
Oh, there's no way
And
that would not be me.
No,
37.
this is the average,
That's
so,
shocking,
And then it's 56 new items of clothes per year. That's more than one a week.
That's insane. And there's also, so Joe...
I haven't bought anything new in a million years, but anyway.
I think the only things I buy new are socks and undies. That's pretty much it. So Jo, who's running the workshops up here, so she's curating this.
Yeah, we were going to want to find where the workshops are too.
Oh, great. Yeah, so it's in the back corner there.
okay.
Yeah, so Jo does a podcast which is called Questioning Fashion. And so she's a sustainable stylist. So all of her work, which she's selling people, is all vintage, secondhand, upcycled, made by makers, all that stuff. And so she basically convinces her clients that she's like, if you want to work with me, that's what we're doing. And if I think some people, they might have something they've bought new, she'll repurpose it, that kind of thing, or redesign it.
Reinvent it.
Yeah, yes, reinvent it. Jo Gambale.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
we'll have to catch up
she's
with
fantastic, yeah. And so she's got different people from the fashion world, but what she likes to say is she's focusing on fashion with a lowercase f, not fashion, because that's kind of what's made its way through to the fast fashion thing, where it's now like a dirty word, It used to be a kind of rich people thing,
an aspirational
thing, but now because of fast fashion, you can get these copies of these things, and this is it. So, but then because it's cheaper, people don't have a connection to it, and then they just chuck it, or they wear it once, or they don't wear it at all.
They don't know how to launder it, so it comes you wash it once and it looks like.
And then if it's got a hole in it, so there's all these.
But if it's like ultra fast fashion, it's made to fall apart.
Yeah.
So then you've got
Shein is, Zara started it, but Shein have perfected
the planned obsolescence, which is unfortunately in pretty much everything that's made. But so there's a lot of stuff in there of like, how does it get to this point, So at the moment, all we can do is once it's here, this is what we're tracking. But as we go, we want to be able to get all kinds of data. So when people are coming in, we can be like, oh, okay, so did you wear this? Just for our, we're just getting an idea. And it makes people, just even when they drop off, we explain what's happening. And they go, oh, why are we, why is it being weighed? And you start telling them, like, oh, okay. And then, we're going to have some more signs. Once we know what it's saying, we're going to have some more signs with stats like that. Like, did you know?
Yeah,
the
great.
Average, blah, blah.
Yeah, because 27 kilos. What's the maximum that you can put on that scale?
I think it might be 100. It's pretty
kilos?
I think so. Not sure. I think I do have the information somewhere, but we don't generally weigh that many. So because we're tracking it. So
But that's
finally,
across a year,
Yeah.
the average Australian.
Yeah.
And of course, we know with maths, if you're data queens,
Yes.
welcome, I'm a data
Oh,
queen
great,
too,
yeah.
I love my data.
We can do an introduction. So I'm Renata, this is Susan.
Hi.
Hi,
from
nice to meet
Meyd.it.
you.
Susan's
Sorry,
the-
can I get you this way? Sorry,
Susan's
Susan.
the founder and CEO of Meyd.it, which is an online platform that we're developing.
I've come across, I feel like I've heard this name.
It has a purple logo with
Okay.
an M shaped out of a tape measure.
Oh, cute.
We'll give you the link to
Yeah.
it.
Is it
Oh,
on,
well, there you go.
Is it on? It's on Instagram.
Yeah, it's on Instagram,
This is
Facebook, we're
fantastic.
everywhere.
I mean, you and Jo would probably love to interview on her podcast because that's what she's doing, trying to bring everyone together.
Yeah.
What are you guys
Oh,
doing?
is she here
you guys,
today?
yeah, so she's
we'll go
I'll
say hi to
introduce
her.
you to her.
Yeah,
Um,
and
my name's Leyne.
Leyne.
Leyne, yeah. And so Bindi's at the till in the black.
Yeah.
So Bindi and I are the founders, co-managers, everything.
Uh-huh.
And then we have an amazing team of volunteers that help us out. And yeah, so we
Well done.
yeah,
good on
so
you.
We've just come up on. We got the keys to come in April, but it's a council space. So there's some, bits and pieces that had to be sorted.
Yeah.
So we had our first market in October, and this has all happened in the last 3 months to be able to get to this. So our original plan was to do this. Yeah.
You've got some nice things here too.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
having a look at the dresses over there.
There's some
like,
beautiful stuff. So it's
Yeah.
a mixture of, I don't know if I told you that part of it. So we have the community drop-offs on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So between 2 and 6 every Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
And so that's where the community brings it in. But we also get some kind of leftovers from charities that can't use, you can imagine there's so much of it.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't fit their needs. And then, so we kind of go through all that. We grab some stuff out of that. We give back what we don't need. Goes back into the cycle, but we also get stuff from TV show sets. So in amongst this, we did a massive. We're kind of coming with a whole other plan for that, but that's for later on. But with this huge pickup from a TV show, and that's where we've got the first ability to have a big clothing sale because we hadn't got to the point of getting enough clothes, right? But then we got, I don't even know, Bindi probably knows 2,000 pieces of immense amount of clothes, and then that was mental. And so because we promoted it as stuff on TV, people just lost their minds. It was amazing. So there was like wines, and it was it's funny because the clothes were pretty much just like normal clothes. There was some kind of more fancy.
it wasn't
things.
a costume drama.
Yeah, that's right. But it was quite funny, and so but a lot of that still mixed in because there was so much of it. So a lot of the jeans, a lot of that. But but the idea of keeping it cheap, so there's nothing over $20 because we want it back out. So it's not like a money making venture. It's just to cover a bit of our costs. But we want it cycled back. We want it in and out. Get rid of it.
So you're
get rid of people,
not for profit.
We're not for profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the revenue, any revenue that comes in, Bindi and I get paid sometimes. So generally we work.
I know
full
about
time
that being
here.
a founder.
Yes, yeah. So we work here full time, and then we both have other jobs to sort of supplement things. But
And is the idea to grow this and make it a profitable business?
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So I mean, we were kind of working out whether it'll be say a not-for-profit or become a for-profit social enterprise. We're not really sure about that. So we're underneath Village Project, which is a not-for-profit being decided. So that's the original. There's a whole other history before this place, which was an original building we were going to have, which was closed in, which was nice. It was protected. But that was a whole other, whole other project which fell apart when COVID came along.
So how do you do you feel you're competing with the vintage op shops and the charitable fundraisers? Like, how do you differentiate from that? Apart from the cap on price
No, 'cause
Yeah.
and the data collection.
Yeah.
You know, someone might say that you're competing with the charitable shops
I guess
for the
so.
good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we have
But
stuff
there's
that
just
they
so
have
much-
as well.
there's
Yeah,
so
there's so
much
much
stuff.
of it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're not just keeping, you know, the good stuff. You know, we're just keeping something that people buy, which is everything, you know, variety. And so the whole part of the thing of the $20 is that, you know, you could be picking a pair of jeans that's worth $200, and then you could be picking a pair of jeans that was, you know, $40. You know,
Yeah.
so it's. I feel like we're in between. I feel like.
yeah, look, here we are, Rivers, brand new. Why?
Yeah, I wouldn't really think of
think
it as
you-
competition because
Yeah.
also we're finding that this is filling a gap for people that can't afford stuff at op shops.
Yeah, I was going to
That's
say
a whole
some
other
of
thing going on.
some of those shops, like
Yeah,
you know, I've been in a St. Vinny's in Charing Cross, and I go, oh, I really like those shoes, $400.
that's right. So that's where it's sort of what's the word? We try to equalise. I don't know what the word is, but to
Equity.
yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So that if you have, you know, whatever it is, $10 or whatever it is, you can get, you know, an outfit or you can.
Yeah, and get something reasonable.
Yeah,
I
and we're
think
trying
it's
to
really a
also-
complementary thing.
I think
because
it's
the
complementary.
statistics that
Yeah.
you're collecting and the
Well, that's
information
what's
that
a
you
bit-
provide
yeah,
will
it's a
encourage
different-
people to vintage shop.
Exactly, yeah, and it's
as well.
it's also, you know, with bringing in so we call it the refashion room.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to have this most Saturdays. We're working towards, if we stay, having it with this shop every Saturday. So this is open. The clothes are open every Saturday. But we also have a monthly markets, which is all sustainable makers and people making stuff out of stuff, upcycling things, gouging things and fixing them, and that is like third parties that come in. So it's not just our clothes, it's other stuff. So that
And
from
what
that
do
flows.
the makers who are coming in? Is there a rental for
At
that
this point, no, well, at
market?
this point, we're for the markets, yes. So they hire a stall, like a normal market, and the ones that we're saying the change rooms are made out of. I can show you those as well. A small one like that is $75, and then a space without the stall is $95. So it's pretty cheap, you know, compared to other markets. And people a lot of our stall holders come back every month, so it's like a pop-up shop for them. And sort of, you know, we're building it as a community of people. You have to, you know, you have to meet the criteria. You can't just be any kind of thing. So we have our pyramid of Rees. So you have to fall. So we've picked these 6 Rees, yeah. So you have to fall under at least one of those. So I'll show you the other side. So my dad's a sign writer, hand signs, so he does. But so the other side.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
So they have to fit under at least one of those. Most of them fit under a couple of them.
Yeah.
And so they sort of have to be part of that
Ethos.
ethos, exactly. And then, I mean, it's great. It's become this like real community of makers. They're sort of collaborating, and there's a lady, beautiful. Her place is called Stalia Design, and she upcycles lamps. So she can get old lamps.
Oh, wow.
She recovers them with vintage fabrics. She also does these amazing, I don't know what the name is, but like flower pressings on cotton and just beautiful things where she dyes things with plants and all this kind of stuff. But she will use for the bottom, she'll use all kind of different found objects as well. But she's doing this whole line of sort of alcohol bottles, like interesting wine bottles, and so it might be like with like a cool shade. So that's a cool one. And then there's another lady who makes handbags out of, you might have seen her, name's designed by Kate, and she makes handbags out of reclaimed fabrics from making train and bus seats. It's called moquette, I think it's called. So you know those really kind of bright, weird kind of things. But it's so, people when they come in, they're like, oh my god, this is it. And so they love
So
those.
cool.
That's a bit more of a high-end one. So we have a mixture of kind of cheap, kind of more kind of local maker, artistic kind of makers, and then more kind of more expensive sort of bespoke kind of things. But so they're mates now. They met each other. They always go next to each other. And
That's fantastic. I will definitely come back. So first Sunday of the month.
Yeah. So the market's the first Saturday
Yeah,
of
it's
the
first
month.
Saturday.
But the clothing shop is every Saturday. And we're hoping if we can stay on, we'll have some kind of free fashion room thing every Saturday as well.
So who makes the decision about your lease?
So it's a council land.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was a council depot.
Yeah.
And it was turned into a sustainability hub. So the whole place is called a sustainability hub, and all the tenants fall under some kind of. Essentially all of us are selling things from landfill in different ways. So the Bower have their services here. So they've still got the big shop in Marrickville. So they've got the bike shop, they've got a bike building workshop. So they're reclaiming bikes. People donate them, they fix them up, they sell them real cheap.
Happy shopping.
So they do electrical repairs, furniture repairs. They're about to open textile repairs. Yeah, so they do it, and there's an electronics drop off as well for that stuff that can't be saved and that goes to recycling. So there's a bit of that, and then the council have a space up there called the Green Living Centre, and they do more home-based sustainable stuff. So solar power, using less electricity, composting, things like home-based stuff, and then Dress for Success are down the front, if you know those guys. So they're getting people back in the workforce, but through donated clothes. So we're all kind of falling under that. We have different leases, so we have different starts and ends, but the hub itself opened on the 1st of July last year. We got our keys in April, but as I was saying, we started in October.
So do you need to meet any criteria for your lease to be renewed, or is
there's no
there's
there's no sort of KPI type thing, but at the end of our time, essentially when we speak to council and everything done, essentially we need to see if they want us to stay, which we hope they do, and if we can renew our lease for another year, so we'll probably do it by year.
So do you need community support? No.
Well, I think at this point it's basically
just the
we just
decision.
got to, I think
they're not competing against others to demonstrate the community benefit or something?
So at the moment we have no clarity on it, shall we say.
Okay.
So at the moment we're on a month of waiting for concrete decisions. And then I guess once we know that, then we've got different plans of action. I guess theoretically, if for some reason they didn't want us to stay, we could maybe get communities that, but I don't know. We don't know. It's all a bit up in the air, which is good fun for planning.
Yeah, well,
but
be in the now.
I can see there's lots of people it out.
So we get some good. It doesn't seem to matter what the weather is. We just get rain,
It's supposed to be a bit chilly in winter.
Yes, well it's funny, and really hot in summer.
Okay.
Really hot.
Great.
And you can't really air condition it because
No.
we're basically outside with a roof.
So you just have to wear the clothes for the weather.
We're those fans that they have at train
those
stations
big kind of with the mist. Yeah, we're talking about that. But I mean, the biggest challenge for us is getting people here because they don't really understand that we're here. They know it's Meyd.it, but they don't really recognise. I was talking earlier about how this space, the only use that people understand it is a COVID testing centre, which is not a very good memory. But when people come in, they go, oh, this is this big, and we find that when people come in, they love it and they want to come back. They bring their friends, so that's great. But it's more getting people to understand where it is. And we have very limited budget for promotion, so we do a lot of online stuff. But
It's all word of mouth
at the moment. But if we stay, we've got a whole bunch of things we want to roll out. And as my dad's a sign writer, he's going to be doing banners and all that kind of stuff. But we can't really get into that if we.
And then the social media
we do
is.
heaps of social media.
So I'll make sure I follow you.
Following online.
That's where I found you on Instagram through Slog.
Yes, so that's true.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that's good to hear. Yeah. So we've got a lot of good online stuff, but I think we need to broaden it a bit more. Most people, because one of the data things we track is postcodes, so we know where everyone's coming from.
Yeah.
So what we've seen so far is it's very neighbours, which is great.
We come all the way from Bondi.
Oh, good on Yeah, that's what we like. Well, someone was here before from the Shire, and I was like, oh, that's a big trip. From the Shire to the
I'm going to stop this now. Thank you
please.
so much,
I would love-
Leyne.
Yes, Leyne.